Hey everyone, Capsirus here. As some of you may have noticed, this is the second time I'm re-uploading this video talking about my most wanted matchup of all time. That's because it was just plagued with audio issues, and originally I was too lazy to fix them, but then my OCD kicked in, so here I am fixing them. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy the video, and that's really about it. Now, usually when someone makes a video like this, it's talking about a matchup they don't like. Think something along the lines of Nemesis's video on Frieza vs. Megatron, or Biffweed's video on Omni-Man vs. Homelander. And there are a ton of matchups that I don't like that I wouldn't mind talking about why I don't like them. Mario vs. Sonic 3. But I wanted to be more positive and talk about a matchup that I adore to pieces. The second coming from Animator vs. Animation versus Henry Stickmin from... well, Henry Stickmin. Wow, the stick figure guy likes a stick figure matchup. What a big surprise. Yeah, I know, it's cliche, but I gotta support my stick brethren. Even if it means sidelining Manga Kirby versus Superhero Squatcho Galactus. That matchup is still goated, by the way, but it's been knocked down to number 2 for me, personally. But why do I like this matchup so much? I mean, outside of the fact that they're stick figures, and stick figures have to stick together. Well, that's what this video is for. I have nailed my love for this matchup down to 3 key nuggets of information, and I want to discuss why I love this matchup so much. So without further ado, let's begin. Reason number 1, the matchup is very thematic, actually. For those wondering what the connections for these two characters are, well, both are internet stick figures whose adventures began pretty small, but over time their adventures became bigger and bigger, where they met new friends, new enemies, a bigger villain who wears a golden object on their head, and their lackeys, whom they befriended in some cases. They also have a friend related to the color red, and had to fight as an enemy one time. Also, before their big fight with their newly enhanced foe, they gained a more powerful form that allowed them to beat them after all seemed lost for them. Both creators also had a hand in Newgrounds back then, because Breaking the Bank was on Newgrounds, and Alan Becker started Animator vs. Animation on Newgrounds. They also use weapons and abilities from popular media, and they can speak, but really just choose not to. So yeah, that's actually quite a lot of pretty solid connections for these two. But I can already hear some of you typing. Why not just have the stick figure battle royale instead of just this? 3 reasons. Number 1, Red and Fancy Pants are basically inconsequential to the fight as a whole. Compared to both Henry and Orange, their arsenals are extremely limited. Like, so limited to the point where you can combine both their tools and abilities together, and it doesn't even scratch the surface on what either Henry or Orange can do. Number 2, Red doesn't have anyone to banter with, which is kinda important when one of your characters is literally Red Dig Figures, a character notorious for not being able to shut the hell up in most altercations. With Second versus Henry, since both can talk but just choose not to, it is a much better dynamic between the two, since there's a lot more room for visual storytelling. More so with Second than with Henry, but still. And number 3, which actually segues into my next key nugget of why I like this matchup so much. Reason number 2, the animation potential is so based, my dudes. So, I already talked about how expansive both characters' arsenals are in the last segment, but I didn't really go that in-depth with them, as it was more an excuse to talk about why it should just be a fight between the Second Coming and Henry instead of a full-on battle royale. Well, that's what this segment is for. Now, there is no denying that Henry just has a lot of stuff, like, way more than the Second Coming. Just for reference, Henry has got reference. His spirit that could punch people into alternate timelines. Okay, bad joke aside, Henry has got a lot of crap he can use at his disposal. He's got swords, guns, bombs, shields, earthbending, multiple strength enhancement items, a tank, a duplicate orange, that thing, an orange that duplicates people, a hot knife that can cut through anything, his own iteration of a falcon punch, a gravitator, a grapple gun, his scooter that can be used for space travel, a metal cap, a nanotech suit, and of course, the teleporter, because you can't have a Henry Stickmin fight without one. And this is just barely scratching the surface of his arsenal. This isn't even bringing up stuff like the Corrupt Tick or his single greatest ability. So, what does the Second Coming have? Well, he's got his Awakened form, the Minecraft game icon, which would allow him to use anything in Minecraft, and also grant him the ability of flight and invincibility. Weapons made out of math, gross. A team of Pokemon, including Feraligatr, Ampharos, Magcargo, Heracross, Bellossom, and Pidgeot. Master Yi's sword and abilities from League of Legends, and an electric guitar that can summon lightning. So yeah, compared to Henry, his arsenal comes up a bit short. At first. But many of you eagle-eared viewers may have noticed that I have yet to bring up one thing. The thing that equals the playing field for this matchup. The pencil. Now I can already hear some of you non-animator versus animation fans saying, "What's so special about a pencil?" And to that I say, this isn't just an ordinary pencil. It is effectively a Green Lantern ring that allows the Second Coming to draw whatever he wants into existence. Like SpongeBob's magic pencil, only, you know, it's better because the things don't attack him. He's drawn people, animals, other stick figures that can do his bidding, hammers, swords, spears, maces, shields, guns that can erase things, grenade launchers, rocket launchers, and even working machines like jackhammers. This pencil alone allows the Second Coming to keep up with Henry and his arsenal, and it could lead to some pretty interesting fight interactions that, what's this? I used in a storyboard I made for this matchup. Here, have a look. Yep, that was all done by me, by myself, to show how much I love this matchup. I made the first ever, and probably only storyboard I will ever make. Now, I will admit that I could have done a lot more with this, but I think for my first time, I did a pretty good job. Finally, we move on to reason number 3, the impact both series had on me and my life. Okay, I know this last one is super cliche and everything, but it's honestly the truth. So it's time for y'all to learn some Capsirus lore. When I was around, I want to say 6 or 7 years old, I was living in Singapore at the time. Yes, Cap Nation, ya boy has lived all over the world. Anyway, back on track. While I was living in Singapore, I went to school and took some Mandarin classes. And during these classes, the teacher would sometimes allow us to, drumroll please, play Henry Stickmin games during class. She was the coolest teacher ever in my books. So yeah, Henry has been in my life for far longer than most series I love today. Mario, Sonic, even Kirby haven't been around me as long when compared to this distraction dancing doofus. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Henry has left a solid impact on me. But what about the second coming? Well, suffice to say, animator versus animation hasn't been around me for that long. But it stuck with me when I arguably needed it the most. Back in 2020, I had first moved to the UK and life, to put it simply, sucked. I was doing online schooling and I wasn't really enjoying it, mostly because I didn't have the same kind of social interaction that made school bearable in the first place. But one day, I was just sitting in my room and stumbled upon something that would change my life forever. Animator versus Animation 4. Yep, I watched 4 first. And honestly, I was blown away by the series. The fact that Alan and his team could get across such simple but effective stories with little to no words, the incredible fight choreography that kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and of course, the stick figures. These incredibly simple designs allowed Alan to put them into basically any scenario possible and make it work without it feeling weird or unnatural. And when I say the series changed my life forever, that wasn't hyperbole. I'm being 100% serious. I probably wouldn't have taken YouTube as a job seriously if it wasn't for this series, and many other series like Death Battle. There is a reason my avatar on YouTube is a stick figure, and it's because of AVA, and the fact that stick figures are incredibly easy to draw. If animator versus animation never made it into my life, I probably would have struggled to cope during these last few years. But here I am, 4 years later with over 1.3 thousand subscribers on YouTube. All of this is because one stick figure touched my heart in a way that practically no other series or character, save for Kirby, has before. So why did I make this video? Well, a multitude of reasons. One, I really wanted to make a video on animator versus animation, but I just couldn't find a way to do it. I mean, I could always do a ranking of each of the episodes, but I feel like that would be a massive disservice to Alan and his team because personally, there is no such thing as a bad animator versus animation episode. 2, I adore this matchup a lot, and I really hope after watching this video, a lot of people will adore it as well and rally for it during a potential Tournament of Champions sequel. And finally, 3, both Nem and Biff made videos on matchups that eventually happened, so I'm hoping that maybe if I do this, the same will happen. So yeah, that was the video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then by all means, hit that like button and the subscribe button, and ring the bell so that you don't miss any more videos from me. And if any of the Death Battle team are watching this, I just want you to know that you guys have made something truly special to me. I know I said that animator versus animation changed my life forever, but truthfully, so did you guys. Without Death Battle, I wouldn't have met such amazing people that I am proud to call my friends. And without Death Battle, I probably wouldn't be as creatively as expressive as I would like. You guys are awesome, and no matter what happens, you will always be awesome. Anyway, with all that in mind, I'll see you later, Cap Nation. Bye-bye!